G'day guys, and today I thought I'd share with you all some of the stuff that I've been working on in the garden as I want to do from time to time. So it's been a little bit of a while since I've uploaded one of these, but I figured since we're all probably stuck inside still with COVID-19 and all that, it'd be a good time to show off some hobby projects, get some people inspired and that sort of thing. So just recently, somewhat recently, as in this year, I've actually moved house, and I wanted to take my chickens with me obviously, but this new place I was moving into didn't have an enclosure like my old house did. So I needed to go about enclosing them in somehow. And obviously they needed some kind of fence to hold them in and this sort of thing. And so I needed fence posts. And I was thinking to myself, I could just buy, stakes from Bunnings and knock them into the ground. Stakes from a hardware store. You probably don't know what Bunnings is. Knock them into the ground and just cable tie them in. But I figured, I had this sort of logic of trying to recycle, try to use reusable stuff and this sort of thing rather than just buying plastic that might eventually go into landfill. So I was given the idea to make stakes out of wood, out of Deadwood. So I wandered along to the local forest and found some bits that were straight. Now I didn't spend the longest time in the world doing this, so I probably could have found some straighter bits, but a few of them were decently straight. And what I decided I needed to do first was to cut tapers into them, because it'd be a lot easier to knock them into the ground if they're tapered to a point like a spear than if it's just the flat bottom of a stick. So once I cut them to an appropriate size, I tried to cut tapers. Now, I tried a few different methods for this, and as usual I was just overthinking things. The best way that I found to do it was literally just to get my circular saw and just eyeball it. So just sort of attempt to cut a point by eye, not even bothering to measure it and all this sort of thing. I had a sort of rough idea that I wanted sort of 15 centimeter taper on it, because that's how far I wanted to knock them into the ground and this sort of thing. So eventually I got that going, and I was ready to cable tie them to my chicken wire fence, and I was actually stopped. I was asking people for advice online, and I was advised to actually paint my stakes, because if you paint something with an exterior paint, it stops sort of mold and damp getting into it and cracking and running. It essentially extends the life of your product. So obviously that was a cool idea, and I took them up on that. Again, just a quick little trip to the hardware store, some exterior paint. I only got myself a half-litre tin, and that was plenty enough. Threw that on there, 2 thin coats as usual. And yeah, I was able to cable tie that at regular interviews, knocked them into the ground pretty easy, because at least my backyard's a bit marshy because we're on a bit of a hill, so a lot of water flowing downhill. And so far so good. There's been about a week and they haven't fallen over yet. And indeed, as I was putting it up, one of them fell over because it was just leaning, and the others were able to support its weight. So even if one does sort of pull out of the ground, the others should be able to support it from now. So that's about it. Just a cool way I was able to recycle some product that may have well have just ended up, sitting in the forest for years and years, or ending up on someone's fire or something like that. And I managed to make something cool out of it and make a nice little house for my chickens and that sort of thing. So I thought I'd show you all today, just because I figured it was a little bit interesting. If you have any other hobby projects you've been working on, I'd be happy to see them down below. I'm always looking for new ideas. It's one of my weak suits, thinking up and being innovative and that sort of thing, so I usually have to go looking. So yeah, I'd love to see that. Thanks all for sticking around, and have a good one.